Today I've got a template and a tutorial that'll help you get better while tracing with the Tinkercad sketch tool. So let's get cracking. To speed this process up, we're going to start with a bit.ly. Please type bit.ly/duck26 and press enter. You can also find it in the comments of this video. This is a Tinkercad project. It is set to copy and tinker, so don't forget the golden rule of Tinkercad. Give a reaction before you copy and tinker. When you do this, you get an exact copy of my project. This is an adorable duck. It is an SVG, so it has some awesome properties. If you click fill mode, you can switch it to say outer line. This gives you the outline of the duck, and this is where we're going to trace with Skech. I'm going to tell you the number I like to use is 2. That gives us some room to play, so it's not too difficult. And this also opens up the design so we can drop in the Skech tool. Now, if you haven't noticed yet, Tinkercad has added lines to let you see where the center of the work plane is. I'm going to bring out the Skech tool, and I want to set it right at that center. Notice if you zoom in, it fits exactly in a 20 by 20 grid, and there is a vertical line that you can tell Z is correct. All right, so when you launch Skech, you should check out the Skech features. This is where they highlight all of the things that are new. There's a smooth curve. You've got things you can do with the pen tool, how to create straight lines, all sorts of amazing information in here. Don't skip it. I'm going to keep the video quick by letting you read it on your own. You can come back to it and close it whenever you want. If you prefer my tutorials, I have got a full playlist that you can find using this bit.ly. So let's get good at Skech. The first thing I want you to know is default is straight lines. That you can do with number 1. You can do Bezier curves with 2. You can do auto smooth curves with 3. You can clear the screen right here. This is the dimension tool. We don't need it right now, so I'm just going to shut it off. And then I'm going to start tracing this duck. The fewer points you use, the better. I'm just clicking in the middle. You can make it easier to click in the middle or the middle-ish by switching to 0.1 or off. And then I'm going to bend around this. Well, the bend, we need to hit number 2 to make a Bezier curve. I'm going to the middle of the area. I'm clicking, holding, and twisting so it follows that curve. I'm going to go to this area, click, hold, and twist so it follows the curve. Click, hold, and twist. And I'm just getting close. If you ever don't like what you did, you can hit backspace to undo it. If you want to straighten it out, you can hit number 1 and then switch to number 2 so that you can bend the way you want. You do not need to be perfect. The duck that is here is going to go away. Right now I'm going to hit 1 to just make this a little bit straight. And then when I press 2, I get complete control of the bend, hold, and twist again. Move out this way. I'm going to do the number 1 so I can get it aimed this way. And I'm going for the middle of this. 2, click, hold, and twist. If you keep those straight up, check out how slick it is to get around that corner. Once again, you can click, hold, and twist to get it a little closer. For this bend, I'm going to switch back to number 1. Notice that looks just like the point right there. Number 2 to go around this curve. Click, hold, and twist. Click, hold, and twist, and click, hold, and twist to finish the duck. Now, it's not perfect, but watch this. You can double click and go in and adjust those. The first thing I want to show you is if you make a mistake, you can always do Control Z. Now that we've got this built, we are going to switch the stroke tool on. I'm going to tell you to set it to 1.2. This is how thick I want the frame of my design to be, and let's smooth this out a bit. If you double click on it, we can now get rid of some of these extra points. If I hit number 4, that lets me delete those. And then if I hit V, we can go back and edit. Notice if you don't hit V, you'll keep deleting points, but you can always do Control Z to undo them. I'm going to click on this and see how it has 1 handle. If I hit number 2, it gives it 2 smooth handles. I can get it to this middle of this area, and I can find the exact place I want it. I'm going to bring this point back here so it's in the middle. I'm going to take this one and hit number 3 to break the handles. What that does is it lets them move independently. Now I've got a curve that comes in, and I've got a curve that goes out. Up here, I'm going to do the same thing with number 3. Bring that curve up just a little bit and just tweak and adjust as I get these exactly how I want. Broken handles, you can move independently, and the smooth handles always move as a pair. Hitting number 3 switches to broken in an instant. This one right here, as you can see, is currently a smooth pair. If I hit number 3, I can adjust this one to get it where I want. And then I can adjust this one to get it to do what I want. Same thing here. Let's hit number 3 and get those to a level of smooth that I appreciate. Now, you may say you're not as good as the original SVG. Here's what I'm going to tell you, though. The original SVG is going away. You are making the new SVG that you're going to work with. I'm going to just adjust this piece up here. Once again, number 3. Tweak that just a little bit and get it so my ducky looks pretty darn cool. So watch this. If we hit Finish Sketch, this guy was awesome, but we no longer need him. If we click on this and do Control D, edit the sketch, double click to edit, and then inside here we shut off stroke and finish sketch, you have just made the back of your bath bomb or whatever you want, and it fits exactly. Now you can click on this shape and do Control D. I'm going to switch it to the color red just because I want to highlight what we're doing, and I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to take the red one, and currently the stroke is on the inside. If I set it to outside, bang, you have just built the exact fit for the outside of whatever you're building. I'm going to just move this to the side so you can see how they look so much alike, but you know that this one is a tiny bit bigger. And then I'm going to show you one more thing for adjusting fit. When these slide over, if they're too difficult, you can trim it a little bit. Check this out. Control D. I'm going to take the second one and make it a hole. I'm going to edit the sketch and double click to edit the stroke. And instead of using the outside, I'm going to switch it to the center. If we zoom in, you can see that right now it is size 1.2, so that means 0.6 would be cut away on this side. If you change this to 0.1 and press enter, now it's doing 0.05 on each side. And if we finish the sketch, and I'm going to change the height of this to half as high, let's go 5. When we group those, Control G to union group, notice you do have to wait a moment because it's complex. You have now got it a tiny bit thinner so that it would slide over this shape easier. So the user that asked the question was making bath bombs. I don't have a need for a bath bomb, but let me show you how I'd make this into a lid. I'm going to do Control D. I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to ungroup it. I don't want to trim that piece anymore. I do want to take this and I want to edit the sketch and I want to make it the top. Double click to edit that stroke and click here and turn off the stroke. Finish sketch. I'm going to choose to make this 1 millimeter thick. Now I can align these. I'm going to shift select them. L for align. This one's the boss. Center, center, and top. I'm going to take those and do Control G. And then for printing, I want it to be exactly opposite. Notice when you rotate, if you stay inside, it's 22.5 degrees per turn. If you hold shift, it's 45 degrees per turn. And it's ready for 3D printing. Before I print, I'm going to change this to 1 millimeter as well, just so it prints a little bit faster. I'm going to grab my 2 parts, and I'm going to choose Export as an STL. I store in my 3D modeling folder. I'm going to simply call this Sketch Duck. Get rid of the word copy. Delete the space. Let's save the changes. Let's bounce to Bambu Lab Studio. Of course, we're going to create a brand new project. Let's click on Add and grab the Sketch Duck. We've got our 2 parts. I'm going to set it as 0.2 standard. I'm also going to right click and change to my gold generic PLA silk. Let's slice the plate and let's print the plate. Notice in about 30 minutes, we're going to have a nifty little duck container. And not too much later, we have got adorable Skech ducks. And of course, the moment of truth, let's test the fit. How cool is that? Only thing I didn't do was give myself a gap to make it easy to take apart. Of course, the moral of the story, though, is that you can make these with any fit you want using those simple Tinkercad sketch tips. Wrapping up quickly, I do want to say thanks to Mary for the question. Love this sort of project, and I think it's great for you to be able to grab the template and start practicing. The more you use Sketch and the fewer you use points, the easier it is to get a smooth design. And then I really want to highlight that once you create the new outline, everything else will fit. You can trim it to fit your printer, just cut off the amount that you want. You can change all those measurements to make whatever you're dreaming of, whether it's a light box, a kid's name, anything like that. If you take time to trace it, then you have got the ability to adjust the fit. As I wrap up, I do want to quickly say thank you to everybody that supports me via YouTube memberships. Don't forget there are 3 different levels of support starting as low as $5 a month. Whichever level of support you get early access to videos. Also make sure you pay attention for those members only posts. A massive shout out as well to everybody that supports me via Patreon. Love how the group is growing. We are way past 400 members. It is a fantastic messaging area where you can ask questions, gain skills, share designs. Of course, you can learn more with the bit.ly up above or the link in the description. Finally, friends, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget every time you like, hype, share a video, add a comment down below, or click subscribe, you're helping HLModTech get just a little bit bigger, which absolutely makes my day. Friends, have a glorious day, and keep tinkering.